Hi, this is Maurizio from Invictus, Cataclysm, and Ex Deo. Name them all. You're listening to CMS. All the best.
It is Chris Akin Presents, and I, of course, am Chris Akin, back once again to introduce you guys to some killer new metal. And this is a great extreme metal band that we are going to be talking to today. I'm sure a lot of you haven't heard them yet, but you will, because they really kick ass. The band is called Anzillu. They have a brand new release called EX-NIHILO, and on the line to talk all about it is the guitarist of the band, Jesse Kämäräinen. Jesse, how are you, man?
Fine. It's a late evening here in Finland, and we have some kind of snow slush kind of stuff going on in the outside, so it's really dark and cold here.
Right.
But I'm fine. I'm fine.
That's good. It's cold here too. I'm in Ohio, which is like Finland of the United States, I think, because it's cold and awful here too. So. But I'll tell you what is warm is this new record that you guys have, EX-NIHILO. What a great record, man. And I'm definitely not just saying that. This is an ass kicker, man. Congratulations on a great release.
Thank you. It was a lot of work, so it's good to hear that people actually like it. It's because you kind of come blind to your own stuff when you... First you write it down, then you rehearse it, and then you rehearse it more, and then you demo it, and then you go to studio and you play it like for a couple of years to kind of come blind to it.
No,
lose some perspective. So it's always when the record comes out, it's great to see how the people actually react to it.
Sure. Now, Jesse, for a band, well, let's start here. Let's start a little bit back. For people that don't know about Anzillu yet, why don't you give us just a brief history of how the band came together?
Actually, it became together after my previous band broke up. We were in the middle of writing our third record at the time. Okay. So I figured out that these songs are really killer. I can't waste them. So I immediately started to put up a new band together, which eventually came Anzillu. And I did write the other half of the songs, finished the whole album. We rehearsed it all quietly during the pandemic and recorded it. And now you're hearing the results.
Sure.
So it's kind of like a swan song to my previous band, but I wanted to take it from the clean slate, fresh start with the new band. But the songs themselves are somewhat old.
Okay.
So it's been in the making a really long time.
Sure.
And it's been a lot of work too.
Sure. Now the new guys that have joined the band with you, are they people that you knew previously, or is it really clean slate where you met new people and just found that you matched?
Yeah, really clean slate, because my previous band was in another town. And when I moved to capital city, Helsinki, I started from the scratch. So I didn't know anybody. I just wanted to do it with the local guys here, so I don't have to travel, and they don't have to travel. So in a way, it was refreshing, and it came out really well. I like the new lineup.
Absolutely. Now, Jesse, as you've worked, and you mentioned it before, it took a long time for this to come together, and obviously the pandemic added 2 years to anybody's work schedule. But when a lot of the band guys that I know, when they take a long time to write and record music, they tend to get very picky, and they never seem to feel like they're done with a song. Since you did have such a long time, do you feel like the music had enough time where if you would have had to do it in 6 months, it would not have had enough time to develop?
Yeah, it was enough. We could have made it faster, but maybe not 6 months, but like a year and a half. So there was like 6 months overdue, and we have to sat on the finished record for a year. We finished this record last November.
Okay.
But because of the releasing schedules and stuff like that, you can't put it out immediately. So there's been another year since the record has been finished. So so there's.
Okay, so how many new songs do you already have written? Because I know you band guys, you don't stop writing.
Actually, 0. We have a couple of riffs, so we should take some couple of weekends off and write new stuff. But it's kind of like, for me, I write the songs when I'm bored.
Okay.
So now when we have this record, there's always been something, filming music videos or booking shows or rehearsing or something like that. The creative process starts again when my mind is idle. So I don't have nothing to do. Then the riffs start to come out. So I bet it's going to be after the release, when all this stuff related to this record passes. It's like completed, so I can like empty my mind and let something new in. Sure. I bet that's going to be the moment when we start writing new stuff.
Okay. Now, when you write, what do you write first? Do you write an idea, like a thought or vocals, or do you do you just come up with music or a riff, or how do you write your songs?
It's always the music first. The lyrics come last. But usually it's like when I practice guitar or sit down and start to write, I just noodle around on trying to find something, or I maybe have a hint of an idea in my mind that I start to chase, or I go through my library of riffs that I've recorded previously to see that if there's any riffs that fit together or would make the song, or I call my other guitarist, Sami, and we maybe come up with something. Okay.
I'm always curious about this with you guitar guys, because you all have this collection of riffs that you record. Do you record it on your phone, or do you record it on a computer? I mean, how many do you have, and how do you record just these ideas?
Nowadays, I use a computer. It's so easy because I rehearse with the computer. I always have my recording like armed. I just press one button and that's it. I can get it right away, so I don't have to get any other stuff. I just press one button to record and that's it. That's the beauty of the modern technology, because all my like regular amps are at the rehearsal space. And at home, I rehearse with the computer, because nowadays the plugins and virtual amps and stuff like that are really good. So there's no point of having a physical amp at home.
Right.
So pretty much always when I have a guitar in my hand, I'm playing, I have the recording option ready.
Okay. Excellent. Now, how do you remember what the riffs are? I mean, because that's always my question, is when you guys have 1,000 riffs in the computer, how do you know which ones to go to when you're starting to have an idea?
I named them I write the tempo up and the key that it's in. So that helps a lot when I'm browsing, that I maybe have a couple of different riffs. I know the key and the tempo, so I just browse to look for the riffs that are in similar. So I don't have to open the files.
Okay. Excellent.
So it's kind of like easier.
Okay.
And then
makes sense.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, Jesse, obviously you are probably, I'm assuming you are the main creative person in Anzillu. How much influence on the sound and on the development of the songs did you give your new bandmates?
Yeah, I write most of the music and some of the lyrics. So obviously Teemu, the vocalist, has a lot of freedom on his own to write, or the rest of the lyrics that I don't write. But music-wise, we hone them a little and arrange them somewhat. So I maybe have like the basis of the song. I put them computer drums and something on it. So it's like an idea to present for the band. And then we take it to the rehearsal place where everybody learns their parts. And then we start to break it down and see kind of like how to move from different riffs to riffs. And maybe if there's something that needs to be changed. So basically the basic idea of the song comes from me, but all the other things are arranged as a band. So the other guys get their creative input. And also Sami, the other guitarist, helps me a lot with the melodies and like guitar harmonies, and he plays most of the solos, so that's all his territory.
Okay. Do you think it'll stay that way, or do you think as you guys develop more as a band that you'll bring in more input from the other members?
I bet we bring more from the other members, because this was also kind of like exceptional way to make an album, because all the songs had been finished already. I just like when I contacted the guys the first time when I started to put the band together, I said I have an album worth of songs, and then played the demos for them, and they was like, yeah, this is it. But now, since we don't have nothing, I suppose we will make them more as a band.
Sure, definitely. Well, Jesse, you have a couple of videos that are out there now. The first one that I want to introduce people to is for the song Needles. It's a great video. It's a great song.
Thanks.
Tell us a little bit about the song and about the video shoot itself.
The video shoot was done in the same place where we recorded, Sonic Pump Studios in Helsinki. So it was right after we have completed the mixing of the album. So we figured we need a video. So it's for like natural thing to film it there. It has their drum room where it's recorded. It has really nice warm wood interior and high ceiling, and gives this certain vibe that you can see on the video. So it was that way. It was pretty easy choice. The song itself was maybe, it wasn't written when Inkvisitor was around. It was after it broke and I started to form a new band.
Okay.
I wanted to make something fast and heavy, but also with some kind of groovy C section of the bridge part where you go to solos. And I think it came up really nicely, and it was an obvious choice for the first song to release for the band.
Excellent. Well, let's give everybody a taste of it right now. This is Needles. It is brand new stuff from Anzillu. The new album is called EX-NIHILO, which you guys should be getting ready to purchase. And here it is. It's Needles right here on Chris Akin Presents.
Wait to the hell,
right, that was Needle's brand new video from Anzillu, new release called EX-NIHILO, which is out there. Make sure that you're buying it, people. Don't just stream it, buy it. Buy the physical product. That will help these guys immensely, so make sure you do that. And Jesse, watching the video and listening to the song, it's clear that you guys, aside from writing great music, you worked with some great people in the mixing and mastering of this. I mean, it sounds, you take the music out of it for a minute, the sound of this record is huge. Just a big fat sound in your headphones. I know you worked with Nino Loren, who's worked with Amorphous and Winter Sun and a bunch of other bands. What did Nino do that helped you guys define your sound?
He has a great history in recording Finnish metal, so it was pretty much an obvious choice to pick him to record. And I've also worked with him before with my previous band.
Okay.
And I knew that our tastes in how the records should sound is somewhat similar. But I had this idea about the guitar tones and the stuff like that I knew that he can make happen. To record them like they should and make it sound like it should. And he also has a great ear for how to record drums and how drums should sound and stuff like that. So it was really nice to work with him. And the overall results were very, very satisfied with. It was kind of like, came out like it was supposed to, which is not always the case. Sure. Sometimes there's always like compromises or something goes wrong or you change your mind in the mixing phase when everything is already recorded. But now everything kind of like fell in place.
Absolutely. When you work with somebody like Nino, who has, you know, significant success with other bands, and specifically Amorphous, is it easy to tell him when you don't like something, you know, or keep him from kind of drifting toward the sound that he's done with other bands?
I think it's easy, but it's like I said, it's because our tastes are similar. So
okay.
So there may be like conversation going like, should we do this or would be good? So like bouncing ideas between us, but in the end, like the big picture is like we agree on many levels. So it's pretty easy and straightforward kind of work.
Excellent.
And it's also when you mix the record, it's kind of like in the heat of the moment. You have to do it somewhat on instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the big bands who have like millions to spend, to like sit in the year for a record studio, but we had like 1 week to mix the album and like we had more time to like actually record it. But when the mixing phase begins, it's like 1 week and that's it. And you have to like do the whole recording.
Right. Sure. Now I know you also worked with Svante Forsbach on the mastering of the record. And for people that don't know, Svante's worked with Volbeat and Candlemass and Kalma and a bunch of bands that sound different from each other. How did you just hand it off and he gave you a mix, or did you give any direction on what you wanted for the mastering of it?
Yeah, Svante is a heavyweight guy on the mastering in Finland. He's like 4,000 records under his belt.
Right.
For all kinds of music. You hear something popular in Finnish radio, whether it be pop, metal, rock, anything, it's probably made by Svante. But the mastering phase is like the icing on the cake. It's like the last kind of decorations and like the small details. So it's pretty straightforward process. I went down to his studio, and we worked out the main sound for the master, and he delivered it later. Okay. So the mastering is like the mix makes all the difference. The mastering is also important, but the mix is like the work that Nino did. It's the one that kicks.
Sure.
But mastering is like it has a lot of also kind of like bureaucratic stuff, like you write certain codes and put it in a certain format so you can send it to the record plant for pressing. Right. But also sound wise, it's less work than the mix, but it's also important as one takes the guy to do it.
Absolutely. Well, Jesse, now that the album is done and is going to be available or is available for people to get and to hear, next thing is touring, which is a very still a weird thing in all around the world. I know COVID is not still a thing, but now the prices are all crazy and it's really difficult to get out there and tour. So what are you guys' touring plans?
Yeah, the situation for touring is like, it's bad for like everyone, maybe except not for Metallica and Slipknot and the size of those bands, but like everyone else below, it's like hell. But we have managed to book a good Finnish tour, 8 shows across the Finland, and I'm hoping that when the record releases, at some point in time we will be able to tour Europe as well, but it kind of requires certain kind of opportunities to come up from the promoters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to so many bands that have just, and I mean, not even small bands. I mean, like Anthrax, I know, canceled a tour of Europe because of the pricing. I mean, it's really crazy how expensive it has gotten to tour, and certainly for a newer band, like a new band like Anzillu, it's impossible. So what does that mean that you do? Do you try and do the live stream thing, or do you try to do, you know, just get onto a package tour that'll go across Europe, or do you just wait for the festival season, or what?
The first thing is to play as many shows as possible in Finland, but I think our best shot for European tour is the package deal. And that I meant by the opportunities from the promoters. It's have to kind of like fall in place to be at the right time, at the right moment, in the right place. It requires some luck, and you also have to get the offer early enough so you can kind of like put your social life in order and make plans and stuff like that. But it's like you said, it's crazy. The costs have risen, but there's also like peculiar problem. Like if you want to go on a tour, there might not be a bus for you because all the buses have been taken. I heard one big Finnish band that's also big in Europe had to cancel their tour because they simply couldn't get the bus to do it. They had booked all the shows and all the venues and everything was set, but when it was time to roll out of Finland, they just couldn't get out. There was every bus in Europe was taken. Ugh. Like they looked everywhere, every under the rock. They tried, but it was impossible because all the bands are now touring because the COVID ended and they have to get paid. So everyone is touring. So it's kind of like, it's also expensive, but also there's all the venues have been taken and all the buses are rented. And
yeah, and there's less places to play. You know, a lot of clubs, a lot of venues closed because of COVID. So there's less places to book too, right?
Yeah, I think that's the most saddest part. I just recently looked my previous band's touring schedule and realized that half of the places that we used to play don't exist anymore.
How?
And many of them were like pretty significant places in Finnish rock history.
Sure. And
it's really sad to see them go.
Yeah, COVID wrecked things in a lot of ways, not just in health.
Yeah.
But well, thankfully that seems to be sort of clearing up, I guess. Let's hope, knock wood, that we don't get a new strain.
We don't get any more like lockdowns or stuff like that, because it's like poison for the culture.
Absolutely is. Well, well, Jesse, obviously, man, we've been talking all about your brand new release, EX-NIHILO. The band is called Anzillu. And before we wrap it up here, why don't you tell everybody where they should go on the internet to keep up with you and the band, and tour dates or videos or any of that stuff?
Yeah, thanks for having us. And you can find the record pretty much on every streaming service. And all the videos will be available on our YouTube channel, Anzillu. And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram as well. And there will be, when the record drops, there will be one last music video for Mental Graveyard, which is, for my taste, the best song on the album. And I hope everyone will go and see it. If there's one song you should listen on the album, it's that one.
Okay. Excellent. Well, I figured what we would do, Jesse, is we would wrap the interview up with the video for Discordia, which is another great video. So to wrap it up, tell us a little bit about this song and this video.
This song was the second song I ever wrote for this album, so it's the second oldest one.
Okay. And
it was like in totally different direction that I've written before, and it's still on the album is a pretty different song compared to other ones, but I think it fits the album nicely because it has a certain different one. It gives you like a breather among the songs, even though it's like really fast still. And the video we shot in middle of the summer where all the nature is in its full splendor and really green, and I wanted to make the video so that in times like this, when it's winter and it's dark and cold, you can kind of like watch the video and have a small bite of summer.
Right.
And also because every other heavy metal video is like shot in the dark warehouse and stuff like that, so it's also kind of like different in that sense.
Absolutely. Well, let's check it out right now. This is Discordia. It is brand new stuff from Anzillu. And Jesse, thanks for joining me here on CHRIS AKIN Presents.
And thanks for having us.
Absolutely.